Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. It's a beautiful evening here today. It's 7:15, sun is shining, we've got another 3 hours of light to play with, and hopefully we're going to get a beautiful golden hour. So today what we're going to try and do, I just received a new pair of trainers. We're going to try and shoot some Nike Advert worthy photos by myself around the garden, and the inspiration for this video was Tyler Babin. Shout out to Tyler, because I watched his video on this the other day and I was really inspired after watching it, and I thought, I've just received a new pair of trainers, might as well give this a shot. Maybe 7 o'clock, but it's never ever too late for a Red Bull. And this flavour is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Kiwi and apple. Matches the trainers. So that's why we're drinking this flavour tonight. Right, so the first idea for the photo that I had in mind was to have the shoe kind of hovering over the water of the pool. But we need to see what it looks like. First things first, in hand. So yeah, that is a £250 shoe that has not been worn yet, soaking wet because it fell in the swimming pool. This was a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. Got, I hope, potentially 2 good shots here. Obviously I'm a little bit sad that my shoe dropped in the pool. I don't even really know why I was doing it over the pool. I had a kind of a different expectation, but actually the floor of the pool is actually a bit dirty and there's a lot of texture there, which actually doesn't look the best. I was hoping that the ripples of the water would kind of disguise that, but they didn't. I then continued to pursue that shot. Didn't work out. Luckily Frances just came out now. She's in her jammies, so you won't see her, and we're using this reflector to kind of just add a little bit of light to the shot. Definitely the strings. I feel like Nike base a lot of their shoes on like air and like elevation, like being off the ground, stuff like that. So I feel like having the shoe elevated looks really, really nice. And we're literally using 2 little bits of white string. I'm hoping they're going to be super easy to get out in Photoshop. They should be. If they're not, then we'll have some big problems. Okay, next shot. Again, I said I wasn't going to play on the elevation again, but whilst that shoe is set up in the position on the strings, very well balanced, I'm going to have a little idea. So follow me. Pengo Dolce. Okay, first things first, we do not have a lot of time. Frances is going to run inside and get some glass cleaner, and I'm going to try and elevate the shoe a tiny bit more. It's a little bit too low there. This is a sick shot for getting the bottom. Look at that, that is absolutely sick. I'm actually so happy with that already. Okay guys, so I have no idea whether them shots worked out good or not with the mirror. I think that the right idea was there. I think we need a bigger mirror, to be honest. There's that dog. He's probably gonna bark at me soon. I think we need a bigger mirror, like a massive mirror. 2 of these, in fact, would have been perfect. but we've still got some cool shots, we've got some different shots, and that's all that matters. I know we've obviously been making the shoe levitate and hover a lot, but I think like having a shoe in someone's hand and also just sitting on the floor is quite generic, and everyone's seen that before, it's been done before. So the final shot, we're gonna go up into the trees. I want it to get a tiny bit darker because I want to use the ring light and try something cool in the long grass, but we'll see how it goes. I'm really hoping that we'll have at least one good shot here. The whole purpose is to find one photo that Nike would use in an advert or on their website or on their Instagram page. Imagine if they posted it, that'd be another story. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. One good image that Nike would use or would consider using. Jesus. Thought I'd smashed the mirror there. 7 years bad luck that would have been. I'm gonna kind of sit the shoe in the ring light and then shine this on. Like that. And then with this could actually, I don't know if this is bright enough, maybe even from here, a bit closer out of the shot. Hopefully we'll get something working. We haven't got too long because it's freezing out here, but let's just see how we get on. As soon as we've done this, we'll go inside and we'll edit these photos. Boys and girls, we are back. And I've got an ice cold Peroni. It's so ice cold, in fact, that the lid was frozen on top. I'm gonna break down the whole post photo shoot editing process bit by bit, and I'm gonna try and do it as short and sweet as possible. I do not want to be waffling on here for like 15 minutes, that's unnecessary, but I'll probably waffle on for 10. First things first, I went onto Adobe Bridge and I went through all of the photographs. As you can see, we had absolutely loads, but if you don't shoot, you don't score, so it's better to have too many photos and then you can narrow it down. Okay guys, so what I've done is I've set up a screen recording and I'm going to talk you through each of the photos one by one, step by step, on how I edited them. I have already edited them and photoshopped them, so we do have the final product. It was just going to take a bit too long if I talked you through each individual edit on Lightroom and on Photoshop, so let's quickly fly through all of these. The first image here is the before, no edit. As you can see, it's very nicely exposed, it's well lit from both sides, and I do really like the angle of this shoe. One thing that I noticed when I started to edit was the texture of the bottom of the pool. The paint has actually started to wear off and it's created this kind of cool texture. When it was edited, it kind of looks a bit too much and it looks a little bit too fake. It looks to me like I've literally sat the shoe on a printed background and kind of elevated it from underneath, which I don't really like the look of. What I would have needed is someone maybe to be in the pool or underneath the shoe in the pool and like kind of splashing to show texture in the water, and that way people who are looking at this image understand that it's hovering above the water and it kind of has more of an impact. But we didn't get that, so this photo didn't work out how I initially planned, but I do think we'll be able to use a similar technique in the future. So let's have a look at how this final image turned out. Full screen it. So again, it is super clean. It's very well exposed. It's very well, like, I actually really like how it looks. And I think the angle that I got of the shoe is absolutely perfect. You can see the inner rim around the shoe. You can see all the details. You can see the details on the laces. And again, the color, I think the blue, I was playing with some aquas, but actually a desaturated blue looked really nice and kind of made the shoe pop. So I am happy with this photo, but it's not one that I think Nike would use on an advert. Number two is similar shot, before, after. I actually think I like the before even better. But again, we were using the reflector here and it's kind of casted a bit too much light along the rim of the midsole, which it looks a little bit overexposed there and a bit too shiny, plastic and fake. The final shot of that with the lines removed is also nice. It's clean, it's a clean photo, and I am happy with it, and I would be happy with it. But again, I don't think Nike are gonna use that shot. The next shot, that's before and after. Very slight changes. The more changes I made, I made most of the changes in Photoshop, especially with the color of the grass and stuff, but I'll show you that in a minute. So with this shot, it's kind of annoying because I I'm not underneath the shoe enough and I'm not above the shoe enough. So you can't really see the shoe at all. And if anything, we're not showing enough of the underneath and we're not showing enough of the above. So again, this is a really cool shot. I love how the sun flare is kind of backlighting the shoe, which gives us a good idea of the shape. And I'll show you how the final shot of this looked. It was actually very hard to Photoshop the lines out of this one. Again, it's sick, it's eye-catching, the lens flare is really cool, but that could be any shoe in the world to me. Like, I don't even know what shoe that is. So again, it probably wouldn't be used, but this is the first time I've played with the string and trying to make something look like it's hovering. Next shot is this one. I'm actually really happy with how this shot came out. So what I did for this is, you can see the background is a lot more blurred and the shoe kind of stands out more. And I was shooting at 2.8 here, once again, because I really wanted the shoe to pop from the background. And if we'll have a look at the before and after, very, very subtle changes. And actually the most changes that I did were again in Photoshop. I changed the color of the grass and stuff a little bit more. So let's have a look at the final shot of this one. Honestly, I'm really pretty happy with how that turned out. I actually forgot to fix these lines here, which I did in every other photo, so I just missed them out on this one, some of the creases, just to make it look a little bit more perfect. But that is a photo that I'm very happy with. I really, really like how that looks. The hovering look really suits the image. The shoe is perfectly horizontal. Because we use the reflector to light it from this side, we have a nice backlight, giving us more shape and more depth to the shoe. So I really, really do like that photo, and I think it's super, super clean. I actually didn't end up using this one. I didn't like the texture and the color of the grass. Always has to happen at least once a video. Didn't like the color of the grass. I did think that this was going to be my favorite out of all of them. Reason being is, I kind of pictured this concept already in my head, and I had an idea that I was going to shoot something like this. What I would have liked is more clouds in the sky, and that would have given us more to play with and more contrast on the image. So I knew before I even took this into Photoshop, I was going to have to get rid of the grass either side, so copy the texture of the mirror and replace the grass with that. So let's have a look at the final image just so you can get a better idea. So if we compare the two, you can see that I've added clouds in Photoshop, and I think they add more contrast, more texture, and you can kind of tell the shoe is meant to be floating in the sky. I really, really like how this shot turned out. The only thing I'm not sure of is this here. So this is the label inside the shoe, and I didn't know whether to Photoshop it out or not, but I decided to leave it in because it looked a bit weird without it. Again, I purposely left the bottom of the shoe out of focus. I shot this at a low aperture once again. I think it was maybe 2.8 or maybe 3.2. I don't know, let's have a check. Oh, shot it at f4. It was enough to give a little bit of depth in the lower part of the shoe, because if it was completely blurry, it would be a little bit harder to understand what was going on. So I did shoot at f4 for that reason, and I knew that it would still give me a little bit of blur so that we can have more focus on the upper of the shoe rather than below, which in my opinion is less important. This one again was very hard to do because I had to cut out both of the shoes, and then I photoshopped all of the grass away and put in like a blue sky. And then what I did is I actually overlaid these clouds, but I put them at about 90% opacity, and I used the lighten feature in Photoshop, which kind of made them look a little bit more real and not as fake. So again, I am very, very happy with how this shot came out, but I don't know if Nike would use this shot. Now, my final two images, these are the two that I think Nike would potentially use. These really saved my ass because the whole string floating thing didn't really work for me. Here we go, final two images. So I'll show you the before, and I think this one's gonna kind of blow you away because that is the before of the image. And as you can see, we've lowered the shutter speed here to 250, ISO is pumped right up to 640, and we shot at f3.2. We did wait for the sky to go completely dark when we're shooting these images, and I am actually obsessed with how this turned out. So before, As you can see, we've blown out all the highlights with the ring light. They were easily recovered in Lightroom because we are shooting in RAW. And then the final version of this literally turned out insane, in my opinion. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I think that the shoe is very futuristic. I feel like you could almost play on that they're using like an alien green throughout the shoe, and I feel like you can almost play on that it was sent from space. And again, we've got those like kind of grass crop textures in there, which kind of like aliens, crop fields, all that stuff. And then we've got the mysterious glow going on. I really, really am happy with how this photo turned out. And we didn't even have to crop or kind of clone stamp the ring light out. I literally just cropped above the ring, and this is the final image. And I added in a little bit of bokeh overlay, which I then changed the hue and saturation to a green so it matched the shoe. And I definitely think like these little pieces of wheat grass really add a lot to the photo. So again, I am very, very happy with that. I did Photoshop out some distracting parts of the image, but yeah, very happy with that one. And last but not least, my favorite image is this one here. So I'll show you, this is it before. I full screen it in Lightroom. And all I did for this is literally put the ring light on the floor as you saw in the behind the scenes, and then I literally balanced the shoe like this in this position. I actually leant it on the back of the ring light, and this was the shot we got. We're really struggling to get these images in the beginning, but what really helped was the fact that I got Francis to kind of stand over above. So the ring light was shooting upwards. We put the reflector above, so that was reflecting the light down and onto the shoe, which gave this crazy look. And honestly, I couldn't be happier with how this final image turned out. Let's have a look. In my opinion, I think this is the winning shot. This is a photo that you might see on like ProDirect running or something like that. And I am super, super happy with how it turned out. It's so clean. The grass isn't as distracting as you would normally think because it is blurred. There were certain bits of grass that I had to remove, and believe it or not, I actually removed the ring light from along here and along here. And I just used the clone stamp tool to copy different grass textures in. One thing I could have done is I could have maybe lit up the air zoom bubble here, or maybe moved the piece of grass out of the way. But again, I added in some cool blue like light leaks into the back. They kind of match. The shoe actually, when you have it in hand, has blue thread running through it. So, and it has the blue detail on the heel. So I thought the blue actually went really well with this as opposed to green. And that is my favorite shot, the final shot, and the one that I am most happy with. So this is the first time I've ever shot product photography, and it did take a good few hours on the night, and it has took a good few hours to edit, but I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. And we literally used a ring light, a reflector, a few pieces of string, and that's literally it. And we were just in the garden playing with different types of lighting. So once again, massive shout out to Tyler. I'll link his channel down below, and I look forward to the next photography challenge. And if you want to take any sick pictures of trainers, make sure to tag me on Instagram. I'll repost them on my story. And also, I set up a photography Facebook page. I'll leave the link to that down below as well. We have 420 members, 420, blaze that but yeah, 420 members at the minute, and we're just sharing our photos that we take, videos that we take, and we're just kind of all helping each other as a community, which I'm very proud of. And I've been spending a lot of time on that Facebook page helping others out, and other people are helping me out too. Talking absolute crap, and I've had a third of a bottle of beer. So I'm gonna finish this, and I'm gonna say good night, and I'll see you in the next one.